Hey guys, Matt from Eastwood. A problem that we always hear about is rusted out bedsides or wheel arches, like you're seeing right here. Whether you have a truck from the 1950s, 1960s, all the way up to a modern vehicle in the 2010s and newer, you probably have a problem with rusted out bedsides, and we wanted to show you guys how to do a lasting repair. So we're here with a local Eastwood customer, Mike, to show how to do it on his 1989 Ford Ranger pickup. So you got a patch panel here. One thing I always like to check is like the shapes of the contours to make sure that they match the original vehicle, because a lot of times these stampings aren't quite exact, but it looks like in here it's similar. And I don't know if you can tell over there. It's pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It's a little bit away here, but I think once we get it cut out.
Yeah, but the big thing to show is, the shape right off, as you receive it is definitely not the same as the bed. The bed's actually has a little bit of shape to it, and this panel is pretty much dead flat here. So we're gonna have to make sure that when we cut this, we make it flow into the bed side. So we're not gonna be using this whole patch. I usually like to only cut what I need to keep the repair close to a body line, and right here would put you in a weld almost across, just above center of the panel, and that's gonna create a lot of warping right in the center of the panel, and it's a really long weld. Where this, we can weld closer to this shape here, and it'll not warp quite as bad.
I'm here today with Matt's crew. We're going to try to get this rust fixed. It's something I've been putting off for quite a while. I've always been just a little bit intimidated to do it on my own, but with the little bit of extra help I have today from Matt, I hope we can get it done.
All right, so we got all our tools laid out. We got the patch panels that Mike purchased ahead of time, pulled out, and we are ready to tackle this project. The rust is pretty scary on this truck. Some trucks it may look like it's just a little bit of bubbling, but his is full-on rot in the wheel arch. So we need to get the inner fender pulled out and start just checking out to see how bad the rust has gone into the bed, and then we can kind of make a game plan to see what we need to do to get this all cut out and repaired.
Probably going to end up cutting this off because I just can't get to it.
All right, so as we mentioned, you don't necessarily want to use your whole entire patch panel. So what we're doing here is we have it clamped in place so we can kind of stand back and look, and also kind of look at the whole entire panel and then look behind and see how bad the rust is. So Mike's truck, the rust isn't much past the actual flare section here, so we can go just a little above where this curve is and cut this patch panel down. So just to give you guys an idea, it's going to be something like this. So we're going to run some dividers to keep it kind of all even, but we're going to run it like that and try and cut away, so that way we're not cutting up here into the bed quite as much, and we're keeping it just to the arch. All right, so obviously this side isn't nearly as bad. So again, back to the idea that we don't need to use the entire patch panel. What we can probably do is, I already made a mark here, but we can make another one. Like your rot kind of stops here, and on this side kind of stops out in here. So we can cut our patch panel down. That's going to save us, 10 inches or so of weld on either side. So it's less body work that's going to need to be done. And we're also staying out of this little union right here where the body line follows up. So I think that'll be better on this side to cut this patch down even further, and it'll save welding, warping work, etc. So yeah, we'll cut this one out and get it fit up. All right, so we got this fitting up pretty good. Just needs a little sandy sand. Just needs a little sandy sand to get this, just the little edges that are still overlapping, and then the panel should fit pretty good.
So far the project's going pretty good. We have everything cut and cleaned up, and it seems to be cleaning up pretty well. There are a couple pinholes on the passenger side wheel well that we're going to have to work around a little bit that came through once we cleaned the rust up. Other than that, it's been pretty straightforward. I'm a little concerned. I've never really welded on this thin of a sheet metal before. Usually all I deal with is thicker metals, light fabrication, and everyday repair work. So next we're going to get everything set up and in place, and we're going to start tacking stuff together and welding it up.
Okay, so we got most of the hard work done, which is the cutting, the fitting, the prepping the panels. That's the stuff that's just kind of like the labor-intensive stuff. And we're moving right along. The patch panels look a lot smaller than we started with, but that's kind of the idea here, is only patching the areas that need to be patched. And now that we have this all cut down, we're going to use the Perfect Panel Prep tool to flange this edge and also on the truck, and then we can get everything tacked in place, and then we're going to take turns welding this in place and kind of coaching Mike along the way. All right, Mike, so you can see I started flanging the panel here, and I was doing it on the patch as well. The nice thing about this tool is that it puts a little 45 all around the patch so that you have more penetration when you're actually welding, and you don't grind off the top of your weld and make the weld too thin. So what we can do is just go around this whole patch on both sides, get it all flanged, and then we're ready to fit it up and start tacking in place. So I'm going to let you give it a try.
All right.
And you can get that all flanged up.
Okay. You can't really screw up with this, can you?
No, I don't think you can.
All right.
All right, so last time Mike and I worked together to get the panels fit on both sides of the bed, and we got the panels all tacked in place. They're where they need to be. Really happy with them. Mike got a couple of tacks under his belt, and I'm going to kind of hand the reins over to him and let him do most of the welding here. He is not as experienced with sheet metal, so I'm going to kind of keep an eye on and give him a couple of tips, but we should be able to get this thing all welded up pretty quickly. All right, so that was kind of like a little taste of what we're doing. So we already got all those tacks set in place. So what I'm doing is just working off the tacks. So when you zap, kind of start on the very edge of one of our welds that we've already done, and then you kind of just wick the weld onto that. Since that,
the next one, okay.
Yeah, since that weld is actually a little bit stronger, thicker than these thin edges, it'll kind of get the weld started, and you can just push the puddle over, and then we'll just keep growing each of these little spots as we jump around. But that's probably the biggest thing, is to make sure you start right on the weld, on the edge of the weld, and then once you see a puddle start, just move it a tiny bit and let off the trigger. It's real quick. Zap, zap. So you probably heard how quick I'm barely on the trigger. We have it set so that it's really nice and hot, and you're on the trigger only for a fraction of a second. So there you go.
All right.
All right, so a little tech tip for anybody that's doing this type of patchwork, whether it's a MIG or a TIG. You want to make sure that you control your heat that you have into a panel. So in a big area like this, a lot of times you want to just go across and keep bouncing back and forth and welding the whole thing. What I usually like to do is I take my glove off and I check the panel with my hand to see how warm it is. If it's hot to the touch, where you know it's going to hurt to touch it, it's too hot, you shouldn't continue welding that area. You should either let it cool or jump to the other side. If it's like room temperature or lukewarm, you're probably okay, but I do that after I do a little pass back and forth. I usually stop and check it, see where I'm at, and you may need to just sit and let it cool or jump. Like for our instance, we can jump to the other side, weld, and by the time we come back, it'll be cool again, so we can bounce back and forth. All right, Mike, so you had a couple little spots you're having some trouble with there. Is it blowing away for you? Or?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot thinner than the rest.
Yes.
We had a couple pinholes when we started.
Yeah, I think there's a little, if we're looking at the telltale signs, it looks like the rust has just started to get up into here, but we didn't need to cut the rest of the panel that far. So that's kind of normal, and even with you just kind of learning, you know, you might have just been on the trigger a hair too long there. So what I use for this, and I use this all the time, it's a lifesaver, is one of these copper backers. I have just like the 45 on there, but you can get back behind there and basically use the copper backer as a kind of support, and it's also like a heat sink. So we'll get it back behind the area where there's the hole here and position it so that it's filling the gap basically, and then we can just carefully zap right on that, and it won't stick to the copper backer, and it'll kind of fill up that gap, and then you can just carefully work around and fill these up. But we'll have to be really careful because we don't want these to open up and get really big. So we'll just tap them really quick and work around, fill them up, but the copper backer will kind of be our insurance for making sure these don't get out of control.
Okay. We just finished up all the welding. We ran into a few thin spots that we had to fill in a little bit. We're going to go ahead and grind everything smooth, see if we missed any pinholes, anything that needs to be patched, and then what we're going to do is we're going to seal everything up and prime it, and we're going to call it a day.
All right, so the primer went on pretty good. That went really smoothly.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
So this primer is going to cover up all the bare metal. It's definitely good to seal it all up. You can continue driving the truck. I know you said you have a little bit more work to do.
Yeah, it's going to take a little while till I work through it, but
yeah. So the epoxy primer is going to seal all that up. You're good to go. You're not going to have to worry about it rusting or anything. Now, once this is all cured and everything, you're good to go. We used a seam sealer on the back side. That was just to seal up the back side of the weld so that no rust comes from the back side. And then, of course, the rubberized rust encapsulator, that just sealed up any of the areas where there might have been surface rust. So pretty much the inner wheel well area is all good to go. You don't really have to do anything with that. This, when you're ready to do your body work, you can just scuff this all up and do your body filler over this, and any other areas you're going to repair. Should be pretty good. I'm really happy with how it came out. Is it as difficult or scary as you thought?
No, it wasn't difficult, anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be. I was a little concerned when we were hitting the thin metal on the other side, burning through, but we got through it.
Yeah, I mean, any project you always run into something that goes not as planned, but overall, I mean, that's normal stuff, and we were able to overcome it, and hopefully, you're able to, if you have any other rust spots, you can tackle them now that you saw the process.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that I can.
Good. Well, I can't wait to see how this truck turns out. I know it's going to be a little bit of time, but we'll definitely check back in with you.
Okay.
And can't wait to see what color you paint it and how it looks when it's all done.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me give you a hand on the project.
No, thanks for the help. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.